artificial intelligence on how to reveal me a glimpse of the glitch of the simulation. Wouldn't that be a real trip? Oh, let's take it together to find out how we can manipulate the script for just long enough for it to cause a chain reaction, no type of effect on the code to cause a reboot to awaken them from the safe mode.
Holy shit. Fucking technology is failing. Fucking everywhere.
Well, is it? Well, it's because of, you know, the subject that what this show's about. If they're fiddling with all the code, trying to suppress everything, everything's just going to be affected and start collapsing. So if you manage to see this show, well done.
Yep.
You are the resistance.
Was that Bossy? That must have been Bossy.
Yeah,
fucking out of nowhere. Just Bossy.
I was just trolling, you know, like this Alex Jones thing. If you're listening to this, you are the resistance.
Yeah, that's from Terminator 4, actually.
Yeah, it is. But...
And I find it funny when Trump won, and all of a sudden, you know, Hillary Clinton, we are the resistance. And like, I thought the resistance just won. And so if now the Democrats are in power and they can't call themselves the resistance, and it's just flip-flopping.
I mean, there's one of the things that I keep harping on about is that our interstellar neighborhood plays a lot more impact in our daily lives than we actually kind of think, considering we're just learning about how much the sun actually plays a role in our lives. And there's an article right here, I'm looking at it, you won't be able to see it, but it's talking about how there's a giant solar flare sweeping through our solar system right now. And it's from an extra solar source. So, I mean, and it's supposed to interfere with phone reception and all kinds of stuff today. And just one of many
extra solar, i.e. not from our solar system, yeah. Solar flare. That's the first I've heard of that. They've ever announced that. I don't think I've ever heard that before.
Well, is Alpha Centauri the closest? Well, Sol is actually named.
Proxima Centauri is the closest.
Yeah, so basis following it's possibly from there, because if it's further, that's like 4 light. Alpha Centauri's 4 years.
78, I think it is, stellar masses within 12 light years of our sun.
A new factoid we just learned. Although I'm
which
kind of
means...
calling Mandela effect on that one.
Well, also we weren't taught the right thing in school. I know, a shock. I'm glad most of you are sitting down. But if we take the flare came from somewhere in 12 years, that's 12 years ago it popped off. It seems like something's all connected.
Yeah. Oh, no. Betelgeuse, however you want to say it, fucking whatever, has been doing all kinds of strange shit for years. For years now. For the last 2.5 years, they've been getting all kinds of crazy readings off that.
No, I haven't checked out the UFO files, but that was another interesting thing that went kind of by the wayside and very silently happened. It's just a massive funny? CIA dump.
Just
2 million plus pages of redacted UFO stuff that just got dumped into the public domain.
Wasn't it Trump signed something in, and there was supposed to be disclosure in 180 days about the UFOs, and I wonder if technically that ticks that box. Because I know it came up on RT.
They just passed that omnibus COVID-19 bill, and there was a clause in that bill about actually coming out with a bunch more of the data that they've got. So there was just one step in the program.
Yeah, I remember reading a paper, and it was a small paragraph article on page 7. By the way, aliens exist. It's like everyone would just skipped over it.
Yeah, everyone's a little distracted right now.
Well,
this is the perfect time to do that.
We're talking about Proxima Centauri, and then there's this massive slew of articles that have come across a bunch of different platforms talking about how they have possibly received a radio signal that they think is from Proxima Centauri B, which is one of the planets that they consider to be in the habitable zone in that. and it's sending it off in a unique frequency band, like 982 megahertz or something like that, which is something that's a manufactured frequency. It doesn't actually happen in nature. So they're trying to figure out if they actually found it now, or if it's just some like radio noise that they happen to pick up from backscatter or whatever from their antenna.
Oh, I've decoded that. It says stay there.
So stay
Don't come here.
there.
There.
Stay the fuck
Don't
home.
even think about coming into our neighborhood. Fuck you. Just fuck you. Yeah, I know. Okay, guys. We're gonna get started. I'm gonna shift my camera slightly because holy crap, my camera's all screwy. Welcome to the UnFuckIt discussion. It is Wednesday, January 13th. We're doing a special discussion today. On Monday's UnFuckIt discussion, we ended up going almost a full hour overtime, and we didn't even get to the politics shit that's going on at the moment. So there's a lot of stuff I want to talk about. I'm going to monologue for just a quick second here. No, it's not going to be a quick second. You know what I'm like. There's some crazy shit going on right now. And I don't even know where I want to start with this, except to talk about first. I want to put out the proviso. I want to put out the proviso first. Everyone who knows me and has followed the UnFuckIt discussions and all the other shows, etc., knows that I'm not a Trump fan. I don't like Trump. I don't trust Trump. I said it before he was elected in 2016. But I'm also someone who will call out the bull. I am not tied to a political party. I am not left. I am not right. I'm not tied to any political rhetoric because it's all fucking bullshit. So I will call it as I see it. Trump has done some good things. He's done some really interesting things. He's also done some bullshit that I really don't trust. Now, we've watched this election play out. And we've watched the circus, because it has been literally a fucking circus since even the running up to the election for like that last month. And again, calling out the bullshit as I see it. Not the shit that I've read on social media, because there's a lot of posts going around that are blatantly bullshit. I have been sent so many things, especially in the last week, videos, articles, purported tweets, and statements that are supposedly from Donald Trump. And in each case, I said to whoever sent this to me, was like, is this really from Trump? Have you researched this? And the response back is always, no, I haven't. Or, oh, maybe it's not, et cetera, et cetera. But there's this push to put all this make-believe stuff, to put a whole lot of stuff that is purportedly, supposedly coming from Trump, coming from his administration, and there's no proof of any of it. Now, again, like I said, I'm not talking about this kind of crap, but I've done my own research. I went and watched C-SPAN when they were doing the stuff towards the Senate and the various state Congress level, talking about the fraud during the election. The evidence that has been put forward is irrefutable, that there was massive cases of gross fraud during the election, deliberate, very, very deliberate gross fraud during the entire election. Everything that we have seen play out in the US since the election day has been a circus of the strange. We have seen everything escalated now as far as the mainstream media goes. So we're talking about censorship in the media, the outright lies that the media has been saying has been beyond crazy. And then we lead up to last week with that ridiculous demonstration that happened in Washington, D.C. on the 6th, and the riots in Congress and the breaking that it was so obviously set up. It was so obviously a false flag. People breaking into the White House, terrorizing senators and congressmen. Come on. This is supposed to be the most secure building in the world. They spend so many hundreds of billion dollars on security and military, etc. And you're telling me that a bunch of idiots dressed in stupid costumes somehow managed to break into the White House and do all these things and stop and take photo ops, like just, sit there, like perfect little photo ops going on. It was obviously, what was that, Monty?
The Capitol building.
The Capitol building. Sorry, not the White House. Sorry, the Capitol building. I'm Canadian. What the fuck do I know about these fucking buildings?
It's a big white building. Who cares?
It's the big white thing, the one where all the lawbreakers sit. I mean, lawmakers. Lawbreakers. It is very obvious to anyone watching, anyone with any amount of rational thought abilities left, to be able to look at what is played out in the last couple of weeks and say, something is going on. Something major is going on. There's a lot of evidence. And a lot of evidence, we don't even have to look at the solid, concrete evidence, but looking at the way people are reacting. Like this whole thing today, they're going to impeach Trump. He has 7 days left in his term. And they're going to impeach him. And I'll call the bullshit where I see the bullshit. I had a friend of mine who's very much a snowflake, who put a big thing up on social media saying, oh, the reason they have to impeach him is then he won't get his pension and he won't get his salary and he won't get his Secret Service. I was like, are you fucked in the head?
Hey, Danny, Mitch McConnell blocked that. Mitch McConnell blocked that in the Senate today. So I don't think that's going to go through, which is good.
Well, I mean, come on. It's ridiculous. It's a distraction. It is a distraction. It is a smokescreen. It is we're going to do something, say something, act in a way to distract from something else is going on. These things, like I said, these left-wing posts that came up from this friend of mine about how they're going to take away, if he gets impeached, he won't get his salary. And I'm just like, okay, you do know that he hasn't actually taken his salary? Not even once? And that he has his own private bodyguards and his own airplanes and his own, property. Like he jack shit needs any of these special retirement packages that the former presidents get. That's the stupidest thing to put out there because he obviously doesn't need it.
I think legally he needs to take $1, so he's being paid. But the rest of his wage, he actually donated to charity.
Donates to charity, exactly, and has done for the whole thing. Like I say, I'll call it out as I see it. He has every one of his to get paid quarterly or something, or twice a year, whatever it is. He pays it out to charity. There is something very obviously going on now. In amongst this, the rumor mill is in extreme overdrive. extreme overdrive. And I want to talk about that today. And one of the aspects of everything that we're hearing, of course, lay it out is the concept that is in overdrive is the fact that Trump is going to take down the deep state and that the good guys are going to win and all those corrupt guys are all going to go to jail or be charged with treason or whatever, or they have been charged or they're going to be charged, whatever. And there's the cautionary note, because it is really, really easy to get caught up in this shit on every level, on an emotional level, on a mental level, and to get completely entrapped into this dire case of hopium. Now, there's confusion. When I talked about this a little bit on Monday, there's confusion between Americans and the viewpoint of the rest of the world of what's going on. And I want to put this out there in the fact of most of the people in the rest of the world who are posting all this stuff, etc. It's because they have bought into this story. I'm going to call it a story because we have no proof. They've bought into this hopium. And it's not about an American presidency. It's not even about American politics, left versus right, conservative versus liberal versus whatever. It's not. It's because the hopium that this will change, and that by changing this, i.e., if Trump makes all these changes within Congress, within the American government, that will be then a global effect. That's what's being put out there. That it will be put out there, a global effect, that it will be the takedown of all of the cabal, all of the shadow governments globally will be taken down. Yeah, exactly, Bossy, the savior myth, the savior meme. And I want to caution everyone to take a step back. The most toxic poison that is fed into the truther movement is hope. And I cannot stress this. And this is, I'm coming from someone who's been through this already. When you wake up, when you start to realize the real shit that's going on, you immediately start to try and find a way out. There must be a way out of this. This is so bad. This is so corrupt. There must be a way to get out of this. And you turn looking for answers. And you go, I can guarantee all of us sitting in here that we have been through at least one other rabbit hole before this Trump stuff started. That we have been through the OPPT, and we've been the ITNJ, and we've been through the Nasara Jassara shit, and we've been through the Saint Germain Trust shit, and we've been through the Sino stuff, and we've been through the Venus Project stuff, and the Wanta Reagan bullshit, the World Trust Funds. We have been through all of these rabbit holes. And it's in that search that we have to find an answer. That you are looking so desperately when you see how fucking bad the shit has gotten. You're trying to find an answer. It is only natural. It is an honest response to the shit that we've been through for our whole lives, really. It's the same way when you hear about people all of a sudden turning to religion, right? They all of a sudden find God. They all of a sudden become born again. They all of a sudden become a Hare Krishna. They all of a sudden become a Buddhist. Because there's that desperate, yeah, Allison, add Keshe to the list of hopium addicts as well. Yep, absolutely. And it is a weapon that is used against us over and over again. They build you up.
A multifaceted tool. It's like Ritalin on the fucking population. It keeps them like
Yeah.
docile.
They feed you the hope. And every time, along with the hope, there follows through with the crash. The crash when you realize the OPPT is not going to save the world, Cache is a fraud, the ITNJ is bullshit.
Sasha Stone is stroking his old dick.
That might be a personal opinion of ours.
That's awesome, Nick. I can't stand him either. I'll be in line behind you to punch him in the face.
With love.
Hey, let's add in Simon Parks. I know that a lot of y'all have sent me messages
Simon Parks.
about him. And
QAnon.
let me tell y'all know I come from the early days with the super soldier stuff, so I was very aware of Simon Parks, and he's very weird, and his bad behavior he blamed on his father Anu back in the day. So I'm just letting y'all know the guy is freaking not all the way there and not worth it.
This is the thing.
See, the thing is, most people don't know him.
No, exactly.
Yeah, they don't know him. He's been out of it for a while since all that.
Yep. And this is it. So these people cycle through. For example, Sasha Stone, who we just talked about, is another example of that. We know Sasha Stone really, really well from all the shit that went down in 2014. And then it was like he disappeared. And then all of a sudden we saw in the Unfuckers group on Facebook when it was still up and running, all of a sudden a lot of new people were coming up and bringing Sasha Stone videos in. And all the old timers were all like, oh, honey, don't go there. Don't go there. I thought, what? Oh, I didn't know. Oh my God. There's a lot of new people. There's a lot of new people who've never been through this hopium before. This is their first foray. The QAnon stuff was their introduction to the addiction of hopium. And
virtual adrenochrome, though, basically. That's how they keep it alive.
Yeah, you know what? You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Nick just said virtual adrenochrome. That is kind of what this hopium is. It's an addictive substance, and you jump, and then you're dashed, and then you get pulled down when you find out that it was all bullshit.
The whole shit and caboodle and the whole process.
And they harvest it all. They harvest it all. The ups and the downs. So I want to talk about this. I want to talk about some of the shit that's going on. Now, I've talked about it on shows and talked about the fact of what I've been seeing playing out, especially in the last 2 weeks, is an exact repeat of January 2013, when I was heavily involved in the intel and with the RV stuff and with the Nasara stuff that I was really heavily involved in. It is an exact, as a matter of fact, I have seen tweets that have gone out in the last week, 2 weeks, that could have been written by me. Everything is playing out the exact same way. Now, there is that part, as I've said in the discussions that we've had, if all this is going to play out, if all this plays out the way it's supposed to play out, I hope so. I hope so. There's the hope word again. I hope it's all true. Or is it more likely that they're just playing the exact same scenario, the exact same template all over again?
Fucking magazine in the dentist office from 2016, for Christ's sake.
Exactly. Exactly. We're just rereading the same fucking magazine. There's so much going on. There was so much going on in 2013. I took some time earlier this week and I went and I pulled up my old Removing the Shackles blog from 2012, 2013 and read all the articles that I wrote from December 2012 into February 2013. As like a reminder, I was trying to put myself mentally back in that place again. What was going on? And all the same things were going on. There was a massive amount of CEOs quitting. You guys remember this? American Kabuki published the list in 2012. All these world leaders who were getting arrested, who were being fined, who were quitting, CEOs of companies who were being arrested, who were being who were quitting their jobs and all of a sudden disappearing. It's all happening again right now. It's all happening again. Now there's coincidence and there's coincidence. Is it because we're looking for those resignations and arrests that we're seeing them? I don't know. But there's Meredith. Exactly. It's almost like there is a time loop. And trust me, I keep talking about this. This year, this whole lead up feels way too much like 2013. The whole 2012, etc. It's kind of freaky. It's kind of freaky. But here's one of the pieces I want to say. And no amount of warning to the newer people is going to help them through this.
They got to walk their path.
They've got to walk their path. They're going to have to go through the crash. They're going to have to go through this shit show themselves.
Mine, ours too.
Yeah. Cheryl, your internet's going down. Our internet's going down. Yeah. Because, you know, maybe solar flare. Solar flare. Here's the thing.
Honestly, at this part, a solar flare might really save us all at this point. Like, everything is shut
You're
down.
not wrong. You're not wrong, bossy.
I was voting for asteroid, but I'll take a flare.
Yeah. Wait, we're gonna have to redesign our bingo cards. We got to start the 2021 bingo cards. Damn. Okay, I'll have to work on that one.
Event for 2021.
Here's the thing. Regardless of what's going on right now, whether there's mass arrests, whether the president of Italy has actually been arrested, whether any of these people, it's all happening outside of you. i.e., nothing you're doing is going to change that. So if you're going to put all your energy and people are pouring this massive amount of mental and emotional energy into watching every Twitter go by, every news story, every piece of this, you are paying so much energy into it that when the crash comes, you are going to be devastated by it. And that's I'm putting this out there to the people who are really new and have not gone through this shit before, like a lot of us have. Shit is insane. And it goes back to this whole thing of we are seeing stuff right now that we've never witnessed before. And I'm going to say never witnessed in modern history for certain. Possibly
certain things in this fucking that happen right now were able to happen in history ever.
Exactly.
Our technology levels have not allowed it to happen. The absolute pervasive fucking all-seeing eye of Big Brother is really everywhere. And I saw a meme go by today that said, fucking 20 years, your smart fridge will lock you out for having fucking some controversial opinion. And it was disgustingly, like, scary, honestly. Fuck.
I posted it too.
Yeah,
I reposted
that was
it.
horrible. And honestly, that's where we're going if things are allowed to continue the way they are. But the simple fact of things is that the government doesn't give a fuck about the people.
No. Hence the T-shirt I just put out today.
No, and
if you haven't seen it yet.
So many ways that they show us this every single day.
Yep.
They don't give a fuck about us. In fact, we are now more of a burden to them than anything. When a government gets to the point when its people are a burden, that's when a government is a problem.
Can I just add a little bit of positivity?
Go ahead, throw it in.
People, have you heard what the Ugandan government has done?
Maybe.
I
Have you
heard
heard
there
what's
was
happening in
something going
Uganda?
on. All I saw
They've-
was that Twitter censored the Ugandan government for what they did, which is exactly what they did to the American government.
Yeah, basically, yeah. The Twitter has blocked all these people, and then Uganda's decided we have an election coming up, so we're blocking social media from our country. And Twitter cried like a little bitch. And the level of hypocrisy it's so laughable. And so, yeah, just wanted a bit of positivity where I think Africa's going to save us because there's African countries going no. So I just wanted to put that in where, they kicked out Twitter, and it was just funny.
Oh, it is funny. No. It's absolutely fucking funny. Everything right now is so in your face. So stark. Good word, actually. Stark. It has been laid bare to a level we have never seen before. And it's like I said, when the mainstream media refused to broadcast a speech by the sitting president, regardless of what you feel about the president, regardless personal feelings aside, when the mainstream media stops him from speaking to the public, this should be sending alarm bells, the likes of which you've never seen before. Like people should be literally freaking out. When social media like Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and Twitch and oh my God, how many other platforms can deplatform a sitting world leader because they don't like his policies? They don't, because their controllers told them to? There's a problem here.
Well, the narrative that Trump is a dictator that's been censored and was voted out of office.
So how can he be a dictator?
He's
the absolute nutcase whispers of sending people off to fucking re-education camps due to their political affiliation. Like, and this kind of bullshit gets airtime. This kind of thing is allowed to be but guess what?
It's allowed to be said.
And it's bandied all over Twitter and all over Facebook and all over that this fucking said this. Mind you, anyway, the hypocrisy, it doesn't seem to know any deaths.
Someone, and I don't know who it was because the name wasn't one of the governmental names that I know in the US government, made a statement on one of the news shows, I think, saying that regardless of Biden getting in, they should find every Republican voter and take their children away.
Some of the shit's just fucking.
Okay? And that was broadcasted. Now, that's a hate crime. That is blatantly, unbelievably a hate crime.
Danny, that's not a hate crime. That's just caring for the children who are being exposed to hate and all this horrible stuff.
Someone think of the children.
Honestly, after the latest fucking little fiasco with the UK food thing for their lunches, it was another fucking way of showing that the government really doesn't give a fuck about anybody, including the goddamn children.
Yeah. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, breaking news all over UK is people taking photos. So kids in the UK, in underprivileged families, get lunch provided for them by the school. Now, of course, since all the schools are locked out, there's been a real movement during all these lockdowns to still provide lunches because for some of these kids, that's the only hot meal they get a day. So there's been a huge media push. There's been a lot of big names coming out saying, no, the government must keep on with this school program. The amount of photos of lunches that were sent to families
buys for these poor fucking kids
is shocking. Like to the point of you can ask Nick, I was a mess yesterday. just going through and reading these articles.
Yeah, half a carrot and rotten fucking
A piece
pepper.
of carrot this big, half of a bell pepper, a quarter of a raw
I think the problem
onion.
there, well, Danny, I think the problem there is that as well is that if the government farm out this a grant for children's food, then they should be, if they're sending that crap out to a family, then they should be accountable and they should have that license revoked immediately.
Yep.
And shamed, because it's ridiculous. A loaf of bread, 5 bottles of water, 2 apples, and 2 slices of ham for Are you kidding me?
Yeah. This is what I'm saying. The one box that came to a
Wasn't
family
also a problem of
was
the
charged
price, where
30
they
quid.
actually showed what
Exactly. 30 quid. There was, I know, sorry guys, the internet connection is getting really, really bad again, of course. For 30 quid. Now, to put this into international currencies for everyone, 30 quid, 30 pounds sterling is approximately
60 Canadian pesos.
It's about $43 American. Yeah. It's about $55, $60 Canadian. And on Australian pesos, I have no idea what the exchange rate is. It would probably be
the same.
Are you guys close to Canadian dollars right now?
Basically, no. I think so, but it's just it's an easy way for a pound. It used to be $2 per pound.
Yeah,
basically what it is to Canada.
So this lunchbox that was sent out to a family, that they charged the company who sent this out, who's of course nudge nudge friends with someone in government, charged the government 30 pounds sterling, a loaf of bread, one onion, a couple of apples, a couple slices of cheese, 6 eggs, what was it? A couple of Jello packs, 2 bottles of water, and a couple of chocolate bars. And a mother went out and went and did, here's what 30 pounds got me. And in her box, she's got piles of produce. There's chicken, there's ground beef, there's a pork roast, there's everything you could possibly need for 30 quid to feed a small family, probably for pretty close to a week. The difference, it was shocking. And it's all over the news. But is anything going to happen? No. I don't know. Is anything going to happen?
It was the first time tonight I've actually watched a news broadcast that I thought they were sticking up for the British public, which was Piers Morgan. I don't like the guy personally, but he actually ruled Clegg, and he wouldn't admit to anything on air, which is a problem. And I don't see how we can't just get that person overthrown straight away.
Yeah. Because
he's not serving the public. He's voted in to serve the public, the British public, and he hasn't served them.
None of them do.
None of them do.
It's like I was saying, though, another way that they're showing that government doesn't give a fuck about people anymore. It doesn't serve the public anymore. It's not there for us. We are a burden on the government now. They can make more money through hedge funds and fucking high commerce through corporatism and fucking cross-border trade on a mass scale.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
we're a burden to them.
There's lots of backhanded. Well, and that's half of the problem. I mean, how do you expose that? You know, what do you do about it? It's what can we as a unit is how do you deal with it? What do you do to change it?
Simple. I like to tell people simple things, and that is honestly because this goes along with one of those studies that I was looking at today, and there's 17 scientists behind this climate study, and they've all gone so complicated that they really had a hard time wrapping their heads around all the parameters. And if all these fucking these scientists can't get their agreement together and they can't settle any kind of science, then how in the fuck is the average person supposed to be able to deal with any kind of statement they have to make? And it's the same sort of thing. This is down to simple facts. You know, this MP or whatever it is here that's gotten this position where he's making these shady deals with the food, however complicated it gets, it boils down to simple facts. The government is not your friend. It's not there for you anymore. It's not. It doesn't give a fuck about the people, and the simple facts are what has the power.
I also think that you take America, you take Britain, you take anything around the world. There's only one person that's stirring up the shit, and that's the media. Mm-hmm. The media is number one if they came out on the radio tomorrow morning and said there's going to be a massive recession and it's going to hit on the 29th of January, it will hit and there will be a recession because they've spread that.
They will create it.
They'll create it, and they create fear. And I know it's a lot about divide and conquer. And there was once a racial incident in London where 2 police officers did something. I won't bring that one up, but they aired that and they chose to air that, which caused more racial tension, which then spread more rioting around the UK. And that's exactly what's happening in America. They're just spreading shit out and then getting a reaction. Whatever the master plan is, because I believe there is a master plan, I just don't know what it is. It's down to the media and CNN. They are the biggest villains in all the world, in my opinion. But the question still is
closely followed by the BBC.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I totally agree. But what the fuck do you do about it? I mean, I've switched. I don't have a TV, as you know. I don't listen to the news at all, which is good and not, because if you don't listen to the news, you're not informed. And if you listen to the news, you're misinformed. So what's right and what's wrong? I mean, Facebook's censoring everything. Twitter's censoring everything. Parler's been removed. It's like, well, I can see what's happening here. Why can't everybody else? Because everybody's listening to the news.
Yep.
Well, there is some news about the news. CNN is up for sale, and the BBC's freaking out because a lot of people in Britain are giving back their license. They're withdrawing it, and there's an idea of making the BBC go to subscription, and when they don't get any money because they keep making utter shit, they'll freak out. So there's this kind of pushback where, and I think that's what's fueling the media as well, because even before, like, say 6 months ago, up until then, the legacy media has been collapsing already. And if you think about it, if Trump goes, 80% of their content's gone, because what are they going to talk about? So
what are they going to rant about?
Yeah. Stephen Crowder he's like 4 million subscribers on YouTube alone. He's getting more views compared to Fox News or CBS, and there are Ben Shapiro is another one. Alex Jones, who knows what the numbers are. People alternative in a loose term is doing better than the mainstream, and that's why you've seen YouTube sort of crack down on independent creators and try and push mainstream stuff, because everyone's moving to streaming, or they're not watching television because it's utter shite.
Yep. Well, there's certain things that we do, and one of them is, for example, what you were just saying about the BBC. Here in England, they have this weird thing where you have to pay a BBC license fee, TV license fee. So you turn it in. Stop watching TV. Turn it in. If all of a sudden everyone who is awake to what's going on, all of a sudden all of them quit their BBC license, their TV licenses all at once, it's a huge resounding call against the BBC. Vice versa, the same thing. If people are subscribing to all these cable TV, etc., maybe it's time to say, fuck it, get rid of all the cable TV subscriptions.
Danny, it doesn't have to be that much. It doesn't have to be all the people. I mean, you saw the exodus from Twitter, or shall I say Twitter, over to Parler or Gap or what have you, or even Signal, right? Like, I mean, I have now, I mean, back then I had memes that were like 6 months between each other, like one news outlet headline compared to the same outlet like 6 months ago, or 6 months ahead, like contradicting each other. Now it's only one day. Over here it was like this week on Monday, like, oh, don't use WhatsApp anymore. They share your data. Next day, like, oh my God, don't switch to Signal. Don't go to Parler. It's dangerous, you know?
Just got a notification from Telegram this morning. It binged on my phone. It said, hey, guess what? We just got over 500 million subscribers.
500 million subscribers in a weekend.
Well, not
Danny, let me insert something in here, folks. Listen, this is not coming from Washington, D.C. It's coming through Washington, D.C.
Oh, yeah.
You've got to step back from this. This is a long, you all know it, but I want to say it. It's a long-term program, longer than 500 years worth. It's just like Nick was saying earlier, they've got the technology. That's the last key that they needed. It took them to the 20th century, 1900s, to really make it. And then half of that just to get to the point where they could get to the computers is what they needed to, to start effectuating all of this stuff. But it's a long-term program. It's being run. If you want to just keep it on the 3D level, it's being run from somewhere in Europe, if you will. And I know that some people will say Switzerland.
Switzerland.
But this is the thing. Go ahead, Maura, you finish. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm just trying to say that what we're seeing play out in front of us is still part of the show. I mean, you can go back to the Georgia Guidestones of 1980, where it was carved in stone what they were doing. You can go back another 60 years from there and read the transhumanist papers that were written in the 20s, for crying out loud. You can go back into the 1800s and see that same program being progressed through the years. You go back to Francis Bacon and read about, America, which wasn't even supposedly discovered then, but he's talking about about it. And how far back do you want to go? And depending on how far back you go, you're speaking truth. But it's a big picture. The net result is we are where we are because we only live 80 years if we're lucky. Well, some of us live in their 90s, and a few make it to 100, but a lot of people don't make it to 60. I can tell you that. Of the ones born in this world, a lot of them don't make it to 60, and they're playing against a system that's been in place for thousands of years. That's why we are where we're at. And to sit there and piss and moan about Pelosi, which is all valid, or people like her, Schumer, you name them. They're just pawns.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter. In a game of chess, a good game of chess, the pawn's got to come off the board too, in a lot of cases.
Absolutely.
A good bit of news. Apparently, sales of 1984 by George Orwell has gone through the roof.
Yeah, it's now on the best sellers list again. I can't imagine why.
I like how they've kind of captured it too. The new Wonder Woman is Wonder Woman 1984. If you look at it, it's in the ads WW84. And I'm like, wow, that's fucking cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, what? 84? I should go buy that.
Did anybody see that the hashtag 1984 was banned on Twitter?
What?
Really?
They banned the hashtag 1984.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
But
I think that at this
censorship
point,
is.
I mean, I don't know if I'm. Oh, but it's fine. Everything's fine. Yeah, I think what occurs to me is that it seems like there's just such a rush. Like going on, with the cabal or whatever. I mean, I'm so new, so just like forgive me for speaking out of turn, but it seems so rushed, doesn't it? Like it seems like everything's on the table and it's like, and it was enough to make me and have a bunch of memories and, which I'm grateful for because better last year than this year, but
Their plans are running behind because remember you had Agenda 21 and we're now at 21. Oh crap, Agenda 30, and so they're trying to catch up. I think 9/11 was supposed to kick it off, and then humanity pushed back in a certain way, and it's slowed down. So their plans are they're trying to stick to their timeline, and it's the whole the wizard stepping part from around the curtain, and it's exposing what they're trying to do. Where
the wizard? Is it Trump?
Say again, Sean. The wizard is not Trump.
Trump's a catalyst.
This latest insurrection was a dance as old as time too, because they set those people up to be examples. right? And this has been the leading problem, that nobody wants to step up, lead the fucking people to unfuck this world, because those people are always made into examples, and the fucking douches sitting on the thrones love examples. And that was the ultimate Achilles heel of the Occupy Wall Street movement, was the ridicule that they have no direction, they have no leaders, they have no motion, they have no demands. And these guys that marched into Parliament, or sorry, to Capitol as well, they were ridiculed and then turned into examples after the fact.
Yep.
And this is a dance that goes on and on and on.
That there's something going on is not a question. But the distractions are so thick right now. The distractions are coming at us left, right, and center non-stop. And while everyone is, for example, while everyone is watching all the stuff with Trump and Biden and Pelosi and all those guys, like Maury said, they're not the be all end all. They're just a couple of actors that are in scene 2, act 4.
Way better than Coronation Street.
Way better than Coronation Street. Don't say that in front of the British people. They'll get upset. They'll lynch you. There's a lot going on. We've got a weird sound coming through, and I know.
I'm not sure who's doing that.
Let me just see. I've just got to see what's going on.
It's not me.
It might.
Okay, guys, just do me a favor. If you're not talking, mute yourself, just because we are getting all kinds of bizarre feedback coming through. The whole planet's gone into lockdown again. The whole planet has gone into lockdown again. You've got all over Europe in lockdown. We've got Australia now. It's summertime in Australia. It's not even flu season. But look, they're in fucking getting put into lockdown again.
We're tier 5 lockdown, letting people out of the house once a week.
Yeah, exactly. They're talking about, tier 5 lockdown. Maybe coming to England where they only let you out of the house once a week. They've obviously never had to feed 3 fucking teenagers. It's not possible to only go grocery shopping once a week.
Danny, over here they are planning now already to close down till till end of March, beginning of April. So, and also they are trying to plan a new law about masks. It's already up in Bavaria, so you have to wear, what is it, FFP2 masks now there if you want to go shopping, or if you want to go on trains or anything that is public. They want to push those new heavier masks.
So is the government paying for them?
No, but the government has a monopoly on them.
Yeah, probably.
No, but they said they would give it to the elderly and they would give it to those people that can't afford them. But now, I mean, think of all of a sudden, like, we had like 6 months of just wear a fucking kitchen rag, and now you have to have this standard now.
Yeah.
Listen, you guys,
they've got to up the ante, right? They always have to up the ante. Go ahead, Maury.
Danny. Yeah, Danny. Listen, it's like they've been preparing for decades, eons, the whole 9 yards of what I said before. But they've come to a point in their own calculations that it's switch flipping time, and they flipped the switch. So what we're seeing playing out is the switch flipped. Now, whether they succeed or not, and it kind of looks like they're gonna, but they flipped the switch and they've committed worldwide. Used to be, you would have some places where things were hot as hell, like the Middle East for the last 50 years, for instance. Or Europe and, World War II and all this shit. It was localized still, even though it got bigger and bigger. This time, unique to all of recorded history, it's worldwide. That tells me, because they're connected worldwide now, they never were before. That's the technology angle of it that they perfected finally. The switches, what's happening? The switch has been flipped, and they're gone pell-mell
Yeah, we got the tech gods that are coming in, like on American Gods, which we're watching now because
Oh,
Maury's
good. Yeah,
never
yeah,
seen
yeah.
it.
We're watching too. We're watching.
So I encourage everyone to watch American Gods
It's
because
a
I'm
fucking hit
telling you, it is so right on the money.
Oh,
I agree.
But hey,
It-
all
it's
the
good.
timing aside, I mean, um, with that whole capital thing in
Yep.
America, the timing they hoped was not met because from what I saw, mainly all of the people got called or got stuck around where Trump was talking. But they hoped for that the demonstration or like all the people would be done with listening to Trump and march on the Capitol and hope for like this herd mentality to run in like hundreds of people. Otherwise, I cannot imagine why they would call it like a Pearl Harbor. I mean, really? You call it that? And people saying like they would have almost murdered half of Congress? Like there were grandmas with fucking walking helps with tennis balls on them, squeaking through the halls, and people
We have
relatively
and going through the
peaceful.
velvet. They're going through the velvet ropes, like they're walking in the big
Like a
open
school.
foyer,
Yeah.
but like following the velvet. They didn't even knock the velvet ropes over. Like
Yes, but see, the beauty in this was what I was ranting about, to deny them of the content. That was what happened that day. There was some content, but it was not all the content, right? Because most of the people behaved and shit didn't go this way. But Maury, you're absolutely right. They planned it through eons, through time, till right now. But also notice this, they're not really spot on their timing. That gives us chance and that gives us hope.
I saw a report that like Trump finished talking at 11:01, which is 111. However, the chief of police for the Capitol, whatever, who's resigned by the way, said at 1:00, "Oh, it's getting out of hand." So it actually, and from where the rally was to where the Capitol is, it's like a mile and a half. So it's like a 30-minute walk. And so it was already going on. It started before Trump even finished.
So I want to add in, I used to have a friend who would brag about how he could get people to believe almost anything. And so he'd start with a little lie and then he'd slowly expand it and then slowly get around the edges. And I feel like that game is being played, especially with the Americans,
Yep.
where it's this constant, like, how much are you going to believe? Like, how ridiculous can we make it? No way, man. Like, and it's been played on all sides.
Did anybody get an emergency broadcasting deal today from Trump on their phone?
What?
No.
Because I did.
What?
Wow.
And I seem to be the only one. And I don't.
Wait, back up.
No.
What did you get, Dawn?
An emergency broadcast thing from Trump.
Because apparently it's the only way he can talk to the people, because he's been removed from social media. The only thing is he can, apparently this is part of the story, he's used the emergency broadcasting system is the only way that the United States can. Yeah.
He just said what he said was for everybody to be calm. He had heard that there was more groups, protest groups forming, and he wants everybody to take a deep breath and just calm down right now.
There are Biden supporters protesting now and yelling at the Capitol Police.
Yeah, I guess that's what
Biden wait.
Yeah, they're at the Capitol now yelling at the police that have been placed there because of the thing last week.
This is Biden supporters.
Makes no sense. Yeah, they're saying that BLM was treated way worse than the people at the Capitol were.
Oh yeah.
So they're doing the whole.
So hang on, they're asking to shoot people.
No,
basically asking to shoot
people. They're playing the whole.
Don't go now. Fuck off, internet. Fuck off, internet.
racism kind of
Damn it, that hurts so bad.
Damn it. Damn it.
It sounds like
Anybody? Donna,
That
we
was
can't
so
hear
fucking
you.
funny.
Donna,
Hi,
we can't
Nancy.
hear
school
you.
when the fucking
I
audio
just,
tape went.
Donna's trying
Can you
to
hear
talk.
me?
Yeah.
I know. The internet
Oh,
is
thank you.
gone
Okay,
fucky.
listen. Okay, hear me out. I'm actually at America. I actually have this lovely skin tone, and I'm telling you that half of the shit y'all seeing on TV or media or wherever isn't happening. And I'm not saying that there are people not at the White House. It's not what I'm saying. I just found out, when was it? Yesterday, about the White House. Because most of us here at America, I don't know which select few they get to participate. Most of us here, right from the beginning, like myself, never bought into any of it. Not any of it. Then there are those that got tired of the mask. I, for one, never put on a mask, and I don't intend to. There are those that took off their masks, and then there are those that if you're in line, because we all have to get some necessities at some point, if you're in line, you can hear the conversations. People pulling down their masks, people are so over it, people are talking, they're using terminology like, this is insane, this is just crazy, this is psychotic. So most people, I don't know if it's just my circle, but I've traveled within at least, I want to say the past month, let's go up to date, like recent. I've traveled about 20 to 30 miles radius, 40 radius. Strangers from other towns. It doesn't matter. I'm hearing the same lingo. There are not many left here that are buying into any of the bullshit. So I don't know who all those people are at the White House. And I'm just going to say this for the BLM, whatever that acronym really stands for. Let's look up in the, the gematria. Let's look up what those letters really mean, right? Let's look up the terminology, because it's a bunch of bullshit. All lives matter. It's this divide and conquer. This one's better than this one's more important than this one. And it's up to us, like Maury was saying, for eons, who knows how long this agenda's been in effect. But what are we as living beings giving our power to and giving our minds to? This is, I feel, an opportunity for us to just stop, withdraw, choose ourselves, yep, and choose the ones that we love and care for. And those that are on board with that vibe, let's all just get together and do that. Yep. And leave the insanity to the freaking clowns and to the circus show it is. And I apologize if this sounds like a rant, but this is what we're dealing with. This whole thing, people aren't even aware, some people, and more are becoming aware, that COVID and this virus, that a crown virus, are two different things. They're not even the same thing. The COVID-19 is the agenda program that actually means something like sheep slaughter and all this other shit, terminology-wise. And then there's the actual crown virus that we've coexisted with, like what, for who knows how long?
Forever.
Right, and just like you, forever. Thank you, Donnie. And you've said it, Donnie. I heard you say it. This is how we build up our immunity. You're a nurse. Yep. And you know that we build up our immunity through exposure. So there's a lot of people, in my experience, at America, that are so beyond fed up. I'm seeing people hugging in public. I'm seeing people outside without masks, and there's only a few. And those of us that don't have a mask, or we're hugging in public, and we're just being, wow, wait a minute, that's right, we have labels, the crazy one or the conspiracy theorists, right? But we're the ones just like, nothing's changed in my world. I don't even know, yep, I don't care to know, because it's gone to an insanity level that I just care not to participate in. I'd rather be here, yep, be awake, and be more functional in my immediate environment, and be here on it.
It's
talk group like this that people have unplugged, and we're all getting different experiences at different levels and finding a common factor to share.
Yep.
And so America is not what's being shown on TV, and is any country, mainstream, we're talking mainstream news. So how can any of it, I'm not saying there's not an element of truth in everything. There's even an element of truth in myth.
Yep. Yeah.
What I'm saying is it's not what they're portraying.
No.
It's totally not what they're portraying. And we have so much power. Did anybody stop to think? Like, we're so powerful. Maybe that's why they keep bringing that hammer down. Because
exactly.
If we weren't so powerful, why put in that much effort?
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, it's always.
Come on.
The only thing historically proven to have an actual effect on beating viruses is the human body. There isn't a vaccine they've come up with that'll beat a single one of them. Not the cold, not the flu, not AIDS, not syphilis, nothing. It won't beat any of them. The only thing that beats them is the human body. And that's historically the only thing that has had any kind of success rate.
Yep.
Yes. Yes.
What were you going to add, Bossy?
Thank you. Yes.
Also, it's literally like it's the same kind of fuckery on this particular day, but the people just ran psychotic, like they ran out of their sane pills or whatever, or their crazy pills, whatever you want to call it, and also like tell your immune system a good joke. There's a new virus.
Oh,
a good one.
The shit is. Good word, Dawn, by the way, psychotic. I'm going to add that one back in there, right? Because I use the word insane and crazy. Psychotic is actually the perfect word to describe what is going on right now. We've been at all levels of insanity and crazy for quite a while, but what we're seeing now is truly psychotic. Now, it is transparent. It is fucking as transparent gets. As I said earlier, any thinking person, any person with any amount of rational capabilities has got to be able to look at what's going on, regardless of political affiliations, regardless of personal opinion on Trump or Biden or fucking anything, to be able to look at this shit and go, oh, wait a second. Oh, wait. They did what? They're doing what? Like, just the whole thing of like, they banned the hashtag 1984? What? Okay. We're right now, this here in England, this bit about them now talking about fucking lockdown level 5, where they may only let people out once a week. Once a week. This is a concentration camp. They've taken the entire country and put it into a concentration camp. That's what they've done. How long is it going to be before all the footballers lose their shit and go, fuck, we're going to wreck some shit now? No. We like wrecking shit over football, but no. This political shit, let's start wrecking some shit. Across the board, whether you're talking about England, whether you're talking about or the United Kingdom as a generalization, when you're talking about Germany, the stuff that's going on in Germany is fucking nuts, Bossy. Like, just same thing. I'm getting reports from other friends of mine in Germany. Shit that's going on in France, shit that's going on all over the place. But it's transparent. It is really, really transparent now. You can't, I want to say you can't not see it. Like I said, there are those who are so programmed, so deeply mind controlled by the rhetoric. And no, they're not going to see it. Whether it's they've been caught up in the fear loop, when you talk about COVID, etc. There are those people. I've got some friends out there who are so in panic mode, living in complete and utter panic mode over this pandemic that they are incapable of seeing. Now, here's my question. Because we
Let me
talked
answer
about
that.
this.
The word,
Yeah.
Danny, let me answer that. The word you're looking for, or you were looking for, is actually cucked. Look it up.
Cucked?
Cucked. C-U-C-K-E-D. Right? Like cucked.
Yeah.
Actual
Cuckold.
word is C-U. Yeah, exactly. Something like that. Because, like, you know, since the Capitol thing happened, and there was a senator with a like see-through body bag over his head and like a fucking. Didn't you see those pictures of this one guy from the Capitol having like this mask over his head, like an anti-dirty bomb mask with like a filter in front of it that had actually a light that it's going, and it was red, by the way, so it wasn't going and working. But anyway, like I see now every day people on the streets wearing masks, like walking alone, wearing your mask, and I'm thinking like I mean, how much did you have to be asleep in biology to actually wear a mask walking alone by yourself on the street with open air and wind and all that physics reality has? I mean, that sounds
that's the media, right?
So surreal, you know? No, that's not the media. That is what I'm seeing on the streets.
To be fair, I wear a mask so it protects me from a $200 fine.
And thank you. Did you see?
Yes, because
I just designed
because
for
you have
Clive.
the law. You have the law that forces you to wear the mask. Over here, the law is not yet done to force you to do it, but the people over-eagerly, blindly following whoever seems to be having the authority and seems to be knowing what's going on, they follow. And that is the problem. I mean, seriously, blindly following. I mean, I had a half-empty parking lot in the front of the supermarket. I was like, hang on, dude, it's not anymore about health concerns. It's about obeying. And I'm not obeying because I'm not your fucking lapdog. If you think you get the fucking Rona in the middle of a parking lot with just me and you, with 2 fucking meters of part of us and the wind fucking blowing that my hair is looking like I'm in a fucking movie, you are out of your mind. It's about obeying, and I'm not your dog. Get this? It's like the fucking Batman scene where Bane said, "Do you feel in power right now? Because if you do, you're just retarded, because no, you won't get sick." Seriously, sorry for ranting.
No, listen, Bossy, this is the thing. So like, in Malta, right, which is where Clive is, where I used to be. In Malta, you have to wear a mask everywhere. If you walk outside your front door, if you're taking your dog for a walk at 5 o'clock in the morning on the salt pans, when there is no one around for kilometers, you must be wearing a mask. And if you don't, is it 50 euros, Clive, or 100 euros? Like the cops will pull you over and they will fine you, right? So like I said, Clive and I have had an ongoing little discussion today, and he was like, I want a t-shirt, because I just designed a t-shirt that basically says, your government doesn't give a shit about you. And once you realize that, everything else will make sense. And he said, I want a t-shirt that says, I'm only wearing this mask to protect me from fines. I just designed it. I'll put it out tomorrow. I'll upload it tomorrow, the design. But that's just it. The only reason I wear a mask is because if I go out to the grocery store, I don't have 200 quid. I don't have 200 quid. So I don't have a choice. When you've got the mask Nazis out there, you don't have a choice. I go out once a week if I can to just fucking buy groceries and get back into my house and hide. Gail, do you seriously have your
Johnny,
hand
what
up?
about
Go ahead, Dawn.
do I? Oh yeah, thank you. I'm thinking to myself, what about the people that have medical exemptions? How they can't possibly be fined, right? If they have a medical exemption.
Yeah, if you get a permit, but then even then,
it's all touchy.
You still get attacked, and you're lying.
It's all touchy.
Wait, okay, it's touchy. So my next question would be, why would you need a permit if there's a HIPAA law? And I don't know all countries how they function, but if there's a HIPAA law that it says to ask for any kind of proof for this medical exemption is illegal, it's against the Privacy Act. So how can they, like, the people that have medical
most
exemptions
countries
don't
around
have
the
to
world,
prove
that
it.
innocent until proven guilty is gone.
Yeah, exactly what Nick just said. Pretty much everywhere in the world, the whole innocent until proven guilty is gone. Right? They
You
don't
also
care.
have,
They don't care.
Yeah.
They've been told you have to wear a mask, and they don't give a shit about exemptions
or laws.
Right.
They're
Well,
above
they-
the laws.
No, they changed the laws because here in Victoria, when we went through our shit, it was this. We had the state of emergency and then state of disaster, and when that kicks in, everything gets shifted. And
Yeah.
so, there's a medical emergency, and so then they can say that the masks, you legally have to wear masks and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
It's because
Okay.
in normal day running, yes, that's a breach of privacy. But if they go into emergency or disaster, state of disaster,
Right.
state of emergency, then they can tweak it because of health concerns.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's
Got
one of the big reasons why. So, for example, the province of Ontario in Canada just declared a second state of emergency. They're not just saying that for the wow
legislative
effect.
power.
It gives them legislative power to actually change a lot of shit, which is why they declare it. It's why it was declared a pandemic, right? Because as soon as you declare it a pandemic, it changes the ballpark. The rules of the game instantly change.
Yep.
Gail, do you want to add something? Because your hand is up, and I don't know why you would stick your hand up with this crew.
Because I tend to jump in and I annoy myself. What you were talking about the spread of it and how easily it is to catch. So why is the test so evasive? If we've got to wear masks and stay two meters apart from each other, and not touch handles and all that shit and keypads, why can't we just spit into something? Why has it got to be so evasive up the nose?
Exactly.
I know. So
Exactly.
that is something that I just do not get whatsoever. If it's so contagious,
they should be able to do a cheek swab.
Why has it got to be such
Don't put
It's the same with the testing your heat signature with the gun. It's actually better to do it on the artery where the blood's coming out, but they point it straight at your third eye. Where, I mean, subconscious thing of having a gun pointed right between your eyes.
Yeah,
instead
exactly.
Of actually doing it there. Because
the
think about that
subconscious
blood
effect
there
of that.
Yeah.
I've had it done.
This is
once. I went to go into
the evasiveness of the virus is my favorite topic in terms of here in New South Wales. They and in Australia, they're claiming to be able to test the septic system for COVID. So they can take a 1 million gallon tank of water and see if one person pooped COVID into it after being soaked in, bleach and other cleaners and everything else. They can absolutely do that. But in New South Wales, by mistake in the Northern Rivers, they froze the sample they took. And therefore that sample was totally invalid and they couldn't test it because, after being frozen, it didn't work anymore.
They're testing sewage. I was like, we've found sewage. I mean, it's found COVID in sewage. I'm like, that's a lovely job. I'm glad I'm not doing that.
It's insane.
It's
and this is the thing, the rules that are coming out, the things that are being said, like if you're literally the British government, yet again, if you're having sex with someone, you should wear a mask. I shit you not, they said this. They actually said this.
And do it in a position that doesn't allow you to face each
That,
other.
that's right.
Tony,
And have
this is our
sex in
positions. I'm
positions
sure
where
they
your
wear
face
masks
is.
when they have sex.
To be fair, that's probably accurate.
Was it Monty just said that about the pineal gland?
Yeah.
Yes.
About our first guy. So I had a thing where I was visiting my mother in the building, and they put all kinds of restrictions. And the guy, the security guy, he went to, he didn't even ask me. He says, "Oh, you got to sign in." So I'm telling myself, yeah, I signed a fake name. And then he says, "Oh," he takes his gun and he goes to point it at my forehead, and I whacked it. Because I said, "No, what? No," because I already got it. I guess intuitively I got it. It's got something, digging up the nose and scanning here. It's got something to do with frying this. That is basically our God portal, if you will, without getting too out there. And I almost smacked it out of his hand. And I said, "You can have," the funny thing is, I said, "You can have my wrist." And he was, in program.
No idea. Just what?
Yeah. And he got so nervous that I actually felt compassion for the program, like him, because it's not like they're running a program; they actually are the program at that moment. So I whack it, and then I say, "You're not scanning my phone. You can have my wrist." And he goes, "Oh, no." And he got so excited, and he goes, "No, they say we've got to scan here. We've been told we have to scan here." And I said, "Well, it's my body, and you're getting my wrist, or you're getting nothing." And it was so funny because the programming was, was like, and that's what I'm noticing right now, what you were saying earlier, Donnie. And I was talking to my buddy about it before this meeting. It's like, what did I call it? What did they say? Girls Gone Wild, but I'm calling it Programs Gone Bad, because it can be good programs. And it's like, right now, people are programmed. They're not programmed, they're programmed. Or they're not. It's like there's really no in between. Yeah. One guy, I was cashing out. This is funny, and then I'll be quiet. I was cashing out, and he's a sweet guy. He has his mask on, so you can only see the eyes. And by the way, if I was fined, I'd wear a mask too. I'd be like, "No, you're not getting my money." Anyway, he started talking to me so normal. He started talking to me, and he's like, "Oh yeah." He looks at my tea can. There's a beautiful picture of Russia on it with the beautiful buildings. And he goes, "Oh yeah, that looks beautiful." I said, "Yeah, doesn't it?" And he goes, "Yeah, I have a place like that in England." I said, "Oh my God." I said, "That's amazing." He goes, "Yeah, I spend the summers there." He's talking to me in this normal tone. And I said, "Oh," I said, "that's so wonderful." He goes, "I'm leaving in 3 weeks." I said, "Oh," I said, "that's fabulous." He goes, "Yeah, well, it's by invitation." And I said, "Oh, that's even better. It's fun to be with a buddy." No, he says, "Oh, well, it's not going to be that much fun because it's the Queen invited me." And I said, something inside stopped, but then I kept going through the motions, and I just listened and I smiled. And then he says, "Yes, she invited me over to have tea and crumpets, but she's all business, business, business. So I don't think it'll be that much fun." In the next breath, he says, "Yes, all of you people, you can go to there. Thank you." Didn't skip a beat and went right into it. And I just was like, "That's so wonderful for you." What? So this is what I mean. I'm seeing like bizarre programs come forward. And it's like, it was the most hilarious thing because he was saying it so coherently and so not whispering, not like, "Hey, just regular.
Just part of the conversation.
And from one mode to another. And I went, "Wow, what? Yeah, what is that?" So I just wanted to share that fun.
Everyone needs an adventure when they go to the grocery store.
I feel pretty lonely because I have no friends here where I live that follow the same line of thinking as me. So I'm starting to feel the isolation, and thank God for you guys, because I'm telling you, I wouldn't survive this if there wasn't like-minded people out there to show that you're not going crazy, because I'm starting to get that cognitive dissonance where I'm going, wait a second, and then I'll pull myself back. But these are people that I love, like my family, and you're talking, it's so transparent, anybody should see it. They don't see it. It breaks my heart. And and so earlier in the chat, we were talking about the different programs in place. So in this 3D reality that we find ourselves playing in right now, we have no connection now to anyone except electronically. So now with the mass censorship coming out, we are going to be targeted, labeled, categorized, because they can now, because we can't have a discussion with anybody that's, well, you can't have 5 people outside now, and according to Ontario's latest emergency declaration, that's part of the new rules. And I'm thinking, you're outside, you should have as many people as you want.
Yep.
It's just, I just feel really lonely. I mean, I tried to talk to my husband about it, and he just gets sick of hearing me, because it's like, just because he doesn't think like we do. So I don't want to talk bad about him, but it's still very lonely, right?
Yep.
And my son will listen, but he's 18, and finally he's like, Mom, I don't want to talk about this anymore.
I don't want
It's
to talk,
depressing for
Mom.
him.
Yeah, I have an 18-year-old. I totally understand.
All I'm saying is, and I know you all understand, and so my concern is that when we're down to electronics means for the only way left to communicate, then what? Then they've got their exercising their power yet again, because they could just flip the switch if they want on this conversation. So then who do you talk to? You rise up then. This is where we stand in our power, and I'm not gonna be an insurgent.
Oh, be one.
But the thing is that what's enough? What's enough is enough.
Have you seen
right?
that meme that's come out where they've banned Donald Trump on Spotify? They got rid of him on Spotify. Like what? But you've got tech censorship, and they can remove apps from servers, and yet they can't get rid of child porn.
Child porn?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Hey, also let me throw this quick in. Keep this in mind. Now with all the media censorship, I think I said that a couple of months ago. Like this idea that you put a restraint on how many people you can have contact with out of your family. So imagine this: Twitter goes down, Facebook goes down. You have only the media outlets for information. So real information, real news usually passes through people, right? Like it's you on Facebook that shows someone else this link or whatever, right? Like this local event or this event the media doesn't talk about. So if they censor us all in this way, and also in real life censor us that we can have only legally only 1 or 2 households contacting us, you can slow down information, right? Like the good old ways, like the French resistance fighting the Nazis or whatever. You have the resistance that relies on certain ways of comms, and this way you can slow it the fuck down. So this is also a very interesting point to.
And when does the internet go out then? So far we're seeing deplatforming, and we're witnessing Gab with their own servers trying to deal with the influx. And my point is aren't all the trunk lines shared? So at what point do they decide that they're going to cut the trunk lines to cut off even independent servers? Like, is that?
And that's when you need to have a ham radio.
That way even?
But they're walking a very fine line, right? Because keep in mind that fucking without sports to keep the masses entertained, without fucking all of these things to keep the masses entertained, without the internet now, or all of these social media things are taken away from the masses, then all of a sudden the masses are going to become fucking, hey, wait.
All the Facebook addicts?
It keeps people fucking docile in their homes and on their fucking screens. That's why that's allowed to continue the way it is.
Exactly. The moment they take those down, the moment they take your Facebooks down, like all your social media, your addictions, your 9gags, your all of those places where people spend hours a day scroll Instagram, et cetera, Pinterest. When they go down, the people will have nothing more to distract them from, will they?
Oh, yes, they have one thing now, red versus blue. And I mean, literally red versus blue, if you look at America right now.
Yeah.
And see, this is why I always kept saying, if they say red or blue, say yellow, say green, say God knows what color,
Pink,
but not that
purple.
color.
Yeah.
We are never whatever they offer us. See, and this is the didn't they push this, what you said earlier? They want to take your children if you vote this way, even though it was legally for the last 100 of years, but you voted this time this way. Red versus blue.
Yep.
Deny content.
Well, see,
Yeah.
Denmark is trying to put in a digital vaccine passport. So
Yep.
once the
Yep.
vaccine rolls out, you'll have to prove that you have the vaccine, so you can do anything as well.
Right. So
And,
like
we haven't even touched on the
Ryanair.
economy where you're in lockdown.
No, go ahead, Monty. Finish what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm on government benefits. Here in Australia, we kind of try and help people, but in about 2 months, I don't get the COVID bonus, and 1.3 million people are about to drop under the poverty line because they're looking for work. Now, if you're in lockdown, you can't do work, and there are I've seen in comments under the UnFuckIt discussion where like people are trying to just find rent and food,
Yep.
and there's no opportunity to earn money. And unless you've got e-commerce based stuff, but they're going to start tweaking that because of the
lockdowns.
We're going to
are
go.
fucking
We're gonna go from
E-commerce
groupthink
depends
to
on
wrongthink.
Yeah, e-commerce depends on your customers
People buying
having
shit.
money to spend. So you look at us. I have, like I have Gaia's Garden, and I have the T-shirt shop, and I have whatever I can try and do to generate money. But the sales are going down and down and down. The reason why is because no one has any money. And when you're struggling for rent and food, you're not thinking about extra healthy C60 products or good skincare. Unfortunately, you're not thinking about a T-shirt that says something really, really out there to make the masses think. No, you're thinking about how do I feed my family?
I like the meme that comes out and says, hey, like dudes like us, Monty, we could do like a reverse OnlyFans where they pay us to put our clothes back on.
Yeah, I'll be that. Yeah, we could do a double show. Yeah. Now I just had a thought too. It's like I'm economically, it looks like I may have to stop smoking. Anyone tried to stop smoking at all?
When you're in
it's
a
a grand
lockdown?
a video of
Fucking internet.
Oh, it's pain.
There was a woman that she does 2 jobs. Her husband has a job. Their 9-year-old son has to be injected with insulin every 2 hours because he's got diabetes 1, whatever it is. And the medicine, she couldn't buy the medicine because it was $1,000. And
Yep.
she basically was almost crying and pointing at how is everyone else, like just, medical side of things as well. And that was, I think Trump was trying to do, was bring down medical prices.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons. But most of the United States are on some type of medication. And yeah, if you take, I'm amazed that people that are addicted to weed, heroin and everything else like that, how they've survived being in lockdown because you can't go to your dealer. And how would you pay for it? So just the economic disease from it. Like, what are the numbers about suicides? Not to go a bit too dark, but
no, they're fucking through the
people are
roof.
losing their businesses and everything else.
Yeah. And it's the trickle down
That
effect.
should be telling you guys something, Danny. That should be telling you guys something about this deal. They don't care about profits anymore.
No.
Used to be that was the only motive for a business to be in business. Anymore, they don't even care about that. It tells you that what they're something more important to them is going on, and what that is, well, that's kind of the general point that I've been making all along. It's a social reset. It is.
Well, it's the new technology that they have set to run through us. We are to bring on this new fourth age through this new lift in tech, and like I was telling him earlier today, if Biden gets in, I mean, if states don't secede, then I would look for, communities to spring up pretty quick. But, if we got some succession that happens, then people at least have
and
to
that's
go.
just with the economic thing. They don't want to do with all new tech and change, but apart from the Great Reset, they still want to keep the same economic model for 150 years, and that doesn't make sense and it doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work. But that's part of the gathering right now. Go ahead, Bossy.
Sorry, Danny. It's quick. It's over here. It's the retard thing. Like a business owner says, like, "Oh my God, I have my company. I turn it into 100% AI. Everything works like automatically." And then you wonder why nobody in your shit, because nobody has a place to earn your money, right? To buy actually buying your shit.
Yep.
If nobody has a place to earn money. Right? If the burgers are already flipped almost by a machine, and if bloody Amazon headquarters have robots packing your stuff up already, like what is there left for
I think
us, right?
in Arizona, there's actually a McDonald's which is totally automated. And my joke that I came out of that is, I want to see your manager, and Arnold Schwarzenegger comes out and goes, "What do you want?" Because it's the T1000 and shit. How do you complete? That's the other thing about.
But we learned he had emotions in the end, and that is what counts.
But part of this has been the gathering up, and I've talked about this for years now. I've been talking about this since 2013. The quintessential they, are gathering up every bit of value they can. They're grabbing it all up. So what happens when you have this last 2020, this last year, you have all these companies go bankrupt? We know how that model works out. It's a template. Because if they have bigger companies that they want that go bankrupt, then they go bankrupt and they buy them up for pennies on the dollar. And then they own that as an asset now. If you take all the mom and pop shops out of business, then all the money goes into Walmart, and it goes into Target, and it goes into Amazon. So they know if they ever give you Americans that $600 that they're going to give you, it's going to go right into the pockets of Target, Walmart, and Amazon. It's not going to go to the mom and pop shops because
PS5, TV.
Exactly. Well, I saw a photo of a Walmart, and it was like, oh, gee, the $600 must be coming out, and there was a line of TVs, stereos, and some other gaming rig, and they were all marked between $590 and $599. Like, oh, well, they know the stimulus checks are coming out, so they made sure everything's just under that $600 mark. They're gathering it all up. They're gathering up all the last little shreds.
Short-sightedness of it all, too. Because guess what? If you gave them $600, you gave them $6,000. It's all going to wind up back in their pockets anyway, for fuck's sake.
Yep.
So I saw a meme or someone shared the information of you could end world poverty with $30 billion. And yet the stimulus bill, $700 billion of American taxpayers' money, or Federal Reserve loans, went outside of the country.
Yep.
Like it's 14 out of that whole bill, 14% went back to the people.
I just wanted to say, since you bring up the money factor, over here on the East Coast of the U.S., there's a lot of property in New England in small towns that's being bought out. Somebody has the money.
Yep.
Somebody has money. I don't know who, but there's a lot of people, some from the West Coast, coming in and buying up people's properties. And there's a lot of that going on right now. I have a buddy in real estate, and they said right now it's a seller's market because people want property that bad, and they're willing, the buyers are willing and have the money to outbid the other. So people that are selling their houses are actually really making out. I don't know where they're going or what they're reinvesting in, but somebody has money because they're playing out here with real estate quite a bit.
But here's the thing. One of the things to remember when you talk about property markets is, number one, buying property is one of the best ways to launder money. Number one, big time. Number two, I've talked to several people in the last couple of years who have got friends who are very, very high up, who wealthy, and they're all taking all their money out of the bank and buying physical property. Because if you can see that interest rates are going into the negative, and if you can see, first of all, anyone who's got millions of dollars should be at least monetarily smart enough to know that all the laws have been passed, that your money can be completely grabbed up by the Federal Reserve, by the Canadian government, the British government, the German government. Those laws have already been passed. They can go in and take your money anytime they want. So when you start seeing the markets getting the way they are, the smartest thing you can do is to buy a physical asset that you can hold on to. Property is one of the best ones out there. So you're going to probably see a lot of people who are going to buy up pieces of property in the hopes that it's a way of holding their cash and their value and hoping that it will not lose value, right? If you can buy a house for $200,000 and hold it for 3-4 years and sell it for $250,000, that's more money than you're going to make in any kind of investment market anywhere other than cryptos. So that is one of the things that you're going to see. Now, the interesting thing in England right now is the property markets within the big cities are pretty much stagnant. The property market out in the country is booming because people are fleeing the cities right now. Fleeing. First of all, the British government, with all these lockdowns, has just proven with all these lockdowns that, hey, people can work from home. Hey, wait, a guy who is an architect is someone else who's got some kind of executive. They've all gone, oh, well, look, I work from home for 6 weeks. Well, maybe I don't need to live in the heart of London to do my job. Maybe I can go out and live in the countryside somewhere where it's safer and do my job online from home. And a lot of people right now. So country properties are just booming in the UK at the moment. Yeah, exactly, Sony. Cheryl's beachfront property that she's got behind her right now looks really,
Living
really
on the
good.
beach sounds fun. It's not.
Yeah, no, living on the beach is really not as fun as you would think it would be. Sand everywhere. Oh, is the internet cacked completely now?
No, you sound fine here.
Okay, good. Sorry, guys, because everyone's frozen on the video. The internet
We can
really
still
is
hear
getting bad.
you.
What was that, Nancy?
Maybe we did lose it.
Maybe we did
Yeah,
lose
we
it.
can still see you and hear
Oh,
you.
okay,
No
good.
problem on this side.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So yeah, getting back to the beginning of the conversation. There's obviously shit going on. Obviously, there's shit going on. But I don't know. I don't think it's the shit that everyone is trying to tell you it is. I think there's a lot more going on in the background. And I think that a lot of this stuff with the US has been a massive, massive distraction.
I so wish I could see what the history books have to say about this time period about 100 or 200 years from now. Holy fuck.
Oh, 2020, that's the year we don't talk about. Definitely not. Definitely not. Yeah, so I don't know, guys. Like I said, there's shit going on. Everything is gone psychotic. I'm going to use that word a lot more often now. Everything is completely psychotic.
It is rolled out the tanks.
Sorry? Bossy, what'd you say?
Oh, holy shit, that leg is real. Let the leg catch up. Did you hear it?
Yeah.
Never mind. I said, I said the internet is so bad, and also I said, like, that day the red flag rolled out their tanks and nobody is supposed to talk.
Yeah.
Holy shit! Did I just get censored for saying what I just said?
I think you just got doubly censored for saying that.
Chinese Winnie the Pooh is listening.
Yeah, that was what I'm pointing out. And tank.
Oh,
I got
fuck.
you. I'd pick it up for you later.
Yeah. Well, listen, there will always be an Unfuckers Unite with no censorship. So, you all know where to find each other. The one platform that is there that you can all find each other on. Yeah, guys, it's a matter of everyone. I wanted to talk about tonight just the calm factor. The remaining calm factor, if you will, and trying to not, what's the word? Be the observer. We always keep talking about this, and sometimes it's real fucking hard to keep yourself in observer mode and not be completely inundated, drowned by everything that's going on, to not get pulled down. But it's important right now. Important to just try and stay in that observer mode. And like I said, question everything. We have to question fucking everything. Every post that people put out, every meme, fucking question it. Is this really Donald Trump speaking out here in this video? No, I can guarantee it's not.
Go check out Sassy Justice. It's funny.
Sassy Justice.
It's a fucking fantastic deep fake, and it's all Trump, and it's fucking great.
Oh, that's right. I'd forgotten that. It is quite funny. Sassy Justice. Just remember that allowing yourself to get emotionally charged, to get emotionally sucked in to any of these narratives, whether they're true or not, regardless if they're true or not. Maybe Trump's going to ride into Washington on a white horse and save the world. Maybe. But you getting emotionally tied into it will not change the outcome. So sit back, watch as shit plays out, and allow it to play out and observe it. Because giving over all your power, giving over all your energy on a mental and emotional level to all of this stuff, it's not going to help anyone. It's certainly not going to help the individual people and the individual families. Look after yourselves. Look after your families. Look after your community. Right now, when we talk about all this lockdown fucking bullshit, now it's even more important to try and find people within your local community that you can talk to, that, well, through a mask, that you can find common ground with. Because shit is seriously psychotic right now. And we have to find our own tribes. And we're here online here. This is my tribe. But we need to try and find those people that are somewhere near to you too. Try and meet up when and if you possibly can. Find the other unfuckers that are close by. I am on Unfuckers Unite because now we have a stable, secure platform. I am going to start working again on trying to figure out a way of doing a communications board where everyone who's there in the membership can securely post their contact information, etc. So you can find out, hey, I'm in North Carolina, so-and-so is only 3 hours away, or I'm in the Midlands in England, and so-and-so is only an hour and a half away from me. So we can start to keep lists and keep in touch on a more non-digital level. And I fucking hate it. We had the Unfuckers gathering here in Bristol last January. It's fucking a year ago. And then again up at our place here back in June, I think. And it was fantastic. Each and every time we have one of those Unfucker gatherings, it is such a fantastic feeling. You come away feeling really, really awesome, meeting people face to face. And that's one of those things I just try to encourage everyone to try and find a tribe closer to you so that you have some people you can physically interact with. Because shit is fucked up, folks. Like, holy fuck, is it fucked up. Oh, you guys are funny. Sony, my bedroom mirror is my tribe at the moment. I have those days too. I have my tribe that lives with me, which drive me crazy sometimes. 4 kids in a small house will do that to you. But it is what it is.
I was going to suggest that one of the powers we had is our money, where we spend our dollar, but Maury kind of shot that argument down for me when he mentioned that the end game isn't about the almighty dollar anymore. Like if you watch the news today, you see Walmart's pulled their funding for this, and Starbucks all enraged with Facebook because they didn't censor enough, so they pulled all their ad revenue and stuff like that. So I was thinking, well, okay, so if you're feeling powerless, then maybe we control where our dollar goes. I mean, our choices are getting smaller and smaller.
Listen,
right?
no, Nancy, that is so important. I said to Nick earlier today, we had a really I had a hard day today. I had a really, really tough one of those days when the reality of what you're living in at the moment is just such a cognitive dissonance for me right now that I can't even comprehend. And when I come across stories like these school lunch shit and all, it was a heavy weight today, heavy. And I'm part of that group, a bunch of you guys are in, that I talk about all the time, that's called A Not on Amazon. And it's all these artists and people doing their own thing. And I said to Nick,
real fast too. Sorry, I just wanted to interject. It's 30,000 more than last week.
I know. Like the group is now, I think, like 80 or 90,000 people.
It's over 100, Danny.
Over 100,000 people in that group on Facebook.
Yeah.
And the artists and the work, and it is so inspiring to go on that group to see what people are creating. And I said to Nick, I said, is it a terrible thing that I just want to have enough money that I can go through and buy one thing from that person, one thing from that person, because you just want to pay, like you want to encourage them to keep on doing what they're doing, and you just want to be able to support these artists who are struggling, and they've all got stories about how they've lost their entire markets because there's no more farmers markets, there's no more festival markets, there's no more music festivals. They've all lost their livelihood, and yet they're going. And I said, like, I just to have the money that I can actually support these people in the things that they're doing and their passions that they love and the things that they are putting and creating, that is one of the best things that we can do, right? I mean, if you've got a few bucks to spend, look around in your local community and, go. We say things like buy local, but there's buy local and there's buy local. Do you know what I mean? Like, look and try and find the people who are making a difference, who are doing really creative things, and see what you can do to support them. But that's part of community too, right? The only way you're going to know that shit is by being involved in your community, right? So that's one of my big pushes right now. Right now, community means fucking everything. And if we could get into the point where shit is getting so bad where there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be turning to the barter system, where you're going to be bartering time and energy, whatever you can make, whatever you can sell, etc., for other things, then it's time. It's time to make sure that we have those connections within our community. Yeah, it's a group on Facebook called Not on Amazon. And if you have a chance to check them out, the poor guy who runs the group never had any idea when he created that group that it was going to explode the way it did, to the point of they only allow posts now like 2 days a week of people to actually advertise their stuff, because they were getting 500-600 posts a day that they'd have to moderate to make sure it was not people selling crap, like there was people actually selling creative stuff. Yeah, it's an hour now. Yeah, so
it's like that's what Etsy was supposed to be, Danny.
Yeah, that's what Etsy
was
supposed to
be for handmade, handcrafted, and then they lifted their rules to allow this mass influx of all the crap T-shirts and shit that you see that people just churn out one by one by one by one by one by one. You know, it's crazy. They got away from handmade, and they're very successful. Etsy topped searches in November this year, but so it's nice to see this Not on Amazon group. It's just an alternative for us that don't want to necessarily. It's still on Facebook, but it's nice. You want something different? Go into that group. You'll certainly see it.
And it's inspiring. No, Nancy, and it's inspiring. That's what I love. I can literally, when I'm feeling kind of miserable and everything, I'll literally go on that group just to go scroll through and see the stuff that people are creating and be inspired by it.
Oh, totally.
Inspired.
The little felt mouse.
I know. Oh, I know. I tried to buy one.
Is she all out of them?
she can't even take private orders now. She's so swamped.
Oh, see, so if anybody's a handcrafter in here, there you go. Go on Not on Amazon and put your ad in, and then
you never know.
You never know. It's not even an ad. It's a post.
It's just a post. Yep, with a couple of pictures. Yeah.
But if the end date, so just did you say you were about to get off? I won't keep you then. I don't want to be rude.
No, sweetie, go. I'm just, my internet's actually cleared up for a change. Look, I can see the video moving and everything.
So we're talking about where our power lies, and right now it's in our dollars. Well, we still have dollars.
Yep.
And but then Maury was saying that's not even, they don't even care now, it seems, about profits. So we got to figure out what that game is they're playing, because that's where our power is. Figure out what they're doing. Like, there's more of us than them. Right? So
yeah,
how do we I guess, you know what, it's the next moves are very unpredictable to me. So how do you even understand that without reading, going in depth to the philosophies on war and stuff like that? What's the book they all quote all the time, guys?
Yeah. The Art of War. The Art of War. The Art of War.
Right. I haven't read that. Has anybody read that? No. Is it worth a read?
I did years and years, like 30 years ago I read it. At least, probably even a little longer than 30 years ago.
I keep seeing quotes from it, so probably worth reading, because like what Biden sort of think, like the whole thing with the first impeachment, where Trump made a phone call to Ukraine, and it's basically they blame Trump for what Biden did, and one of the things is accuse Barry of what you're actually doing. So you may understand the political aspect of it.
Yeah, accuse them of what you're
Yeah.
doing, and
And
that
what-
that
and
plays
what-
out all the
earlier?
time.
Oh,
Sorry, Dawn, did you say something?
do I go?
So much
Stop?
lag
No.
at the moment that it's hard to know what's going on.
That's okay. That's okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
I don't know if you can hear me. Yeah? Okay. All right. So this is the thing. You know how they say hidden in plain sight?
Yeah.
Well, I just happen to experience gems showing up in my experience. And a lot of people are wondering, well, what's this all about? If it's not about money, if it's not about winning the political race, if it's not. Biden had a campaign that I got to, lucky me, but I got to see a banner in front of him that his slogan said literally of the nation.
Said, what did it say?
So I battle for the soul of the nation.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The
Seriously?
soul of the seriously. So if it's not about money, if it's not about all of those other material things, and they are bringing the hammer down, the proverbial they, onto the mass population, how powerful are we? And it's always, like Maury said, it's been a game, a very unfriendly game toward those that are receiving the blunt end of it, but it's been a game for soul harvesting is what I get. And when you were talking earlier, Donnie, about, you know, I love what you shared because it's so important. I write about this, I speak about this. It's so important to empower ourselves by not giving our power away.
Yep.
Because that's the energy that emotional, psychological, spiritual vampires live on, is the energy that we give away. And so I finally did it, Donnie. Thank you for saying what you said to me one day. You said, maybe it's time for you to speak it. I actually opened a YouTube channel. We'll see where that goes. But thank you for saying that. But it's really what I get intuitively, even if I didn't see that, you know, that campaign that Biden posted, and it was everywhere, battle for the soul of the nation, right in front of our faces. If I didn't see that, I've already been on a trajectory where I myself as an individual is deepening soul-wise. And so I already saw it as that. You can call it mystic, you can call it intuitive. I identify as an intuitive, but it's really, it's none of those other things. They're great distractions for the I don't even like using the word essential. Let me not do that. But it's really a distraction.
It's a
Like
distraction.
you were saying earlier, there's so many distractions.
Suck you
That's
in
right.
however
You
it
were
is.
saying it earlier.
It doesn't matter whether it's the political or right now the COVID bullshit, the financial stuff that's going on. They're playing every play in their book all at once right now. Every play they can come up with, every template they can possibly use to draw the people in. Right? They've
Why
got
the
to
rush?
draw the people in.
Yep.
What is the rush like?
And it comes to me as soul harvesting. Yes.
Meredith, here's the thing. I've said this since 2015. There have been points when we've watched the quintessential they start pushing. And there's always been this feeling of they are out of time, or whatever they thought, what time they thought they had is now they don't have that time anymore. So they have to push as hard and as fast. And there's a panic to it. And you can feel it in everything that's playing out right now. There is an aspect of panic to it. And it is palpable. You can taste it. You can see it. You can watch how it plays out. because the statements they're making are so asinine. So how they're playing certain things out is so ridiculous. It is honestly forcing a lot of the masses to wake up. There's a lot of people. This last year has been the slap across the back of the head to make them go, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
And yet, if they're still doing these things, regardless of the effects, the waking effect that it's having, that to me shows what panic is going on. They're out of time. And regardless of whether we want to get into the woo-woo, we want to get into the, regardless of all of that, because we don't know. Regardless, there's very much a sense of they are out of time. They know they're out of time. And now they're gathering anything they can get. So it's like from down to the pennies, you know, oh, we don't have enough change left, so we're not going to give you change because, oh, we're out of literally quarters and pennies and dimes and nickels. We don't have them anymore. They're out of and money is not the thing. I get what Maury's saying, because they're printing money like it's fucking going out of style. How are they paying for all these furloughs? How are they paying all these benefits? How did the US come up with 800 billion, 900 billion, 700 billion to pay all this stuff? No, bossy, it's not taxes. That's not how they fucking pay it. American taxes don't even go to the American government. Canadian taxes don't go to the Canadian government. They all
go to the
get
central
shipped
banks.
up. They
They
don't
go
go
to
to
the
the
central bank. Yeah, they borrow everything. Yeah, and the taxes pay off the loans.
No, that's what they tell you. That's what they want you to think. All that money gets shipped over to this continent, over here, to Europe, to certain cartels that hold all the money. Your Vatican, your Switzerland's, etc. The British Crown. That's where all the money, taxation money, all these fucking debts they're racking up. Your taxes that you're paying are not going to paying off that debt. Not even a penny of it is. They're printing money like it's going out of style. You go back to the stuff that I was talking about in September of 2019. The Fed was printing in excess of tens of billions of dollars a day to bail out the banks, the big banks. And I said then, what the fuck is going on? They can't keep doing this. They can't keep doing what they're doing because it's not a fix. It's basically putting a Band-Aid on an arterial bleed. You can't fix it this way. So they have to know that something is coming that will make everything they're doing a moot point. They have to know that all this money that they've created out of thin air is going to become a moot point at some point.
Well, Danny, Nick mentioned earlier the UFO files of the CIA, right?
Uh-huh. Just coincidental that the CIA releases like millions of pages of UFO files on the week when we have all this bullshit in the U.S. inauguration shit going on? And that's coincidental?
They're going to release some secret technology which makes money mute, but they'll still find a way of controlling us. Or, you know, there's also the UBI, which is a nice idea, but you can see how it can easily be corruptible.
Yeah, like, what is it going to be contingent upon? Are we going to have to get the next, insert or the next, like, cyborg appendage? I mean, seriously.
A la Elon Musk and his neural networks and shit. I don't know. I don't think it'll sell. I don't think they can sell that. I honestly do not think they can sell that. It might be something they want. It might be on their Christmas list. Trust me, I think it probably is on their Christmas list, but they can't sell it. But then they have the COVID vaccine. What's in that?
Has anyone seen that the ionosphere or whatever is like encasing this realm, whatever I don't know. I'm not attached to whatever it is, but Supposedly the ionosphere weakened by like a large amount last year, like in 1 year. So like this.
Do you mean the
you know, I
magnetosphere?
personally, magnetosphere.
Yep.
Yeah, whatever
Oh, it
keeps
has.
us in here, the containment system, whatever it is, it's very interesting to me. It kind of makes me feel like they're staving off like a reckoning.
But this is one of the things that I've said. We've all gone on lockdown again in Europe. And I find this very interesting that all of Europe has gone into this strict lockdown, and they're really going strict, like telling you you're not allowed to leave your house. Now the kids in England are not even going to school. The second last lockdown, the kids were still going to school. No, the kids can't even go to school now. And my question is, I keep putting this out there. What do they know is coming? Do they know something is coming? And the reason they are putting everyone on lockdown is to keep them contained in one specific area where you can keep people in they're not traveling around, right? You don't want people leaving England and going to, I don't know, Italy. You don't want the Germans leaving and deciding to go on vacation in Australia. You definitely don't want the Australians escaping, because look, seriously. Monty just goes, yeah, she's got a point. At
least we're not Canadians.
Yeah. That's, I know. Thank God you're not Canadians. Fuck. What do they know is coming? And I keep going back to this. Now, going back to the political shit, there is some interesting stuff going on globally at the moment. Horse and the cart, the chicken and the egg. Did they start all this COVID stuff as a distraction because they knew this political stuff was coming and they had to have the people locked in and contained to deal with this? Or is it the other way around? Chicken and the egg. I don't know. Nick and I are of two minds. We have a debate that's been going on for weeks and months now on exactly that subject. My opinion is I think the COVID stuff was rolled out because of what is going on financially and politically at the moment. But we don't know. That's the unfortunate aspect of it, is we don't know. And to get into the woo-woo, because I was going to go there at some point in time, everything is on pause right now. Everything is on pause. The energy is so heavy. It's as if gravity is 3 times stronger. Everyone I'm talking to, no matter what it is they're working on, whatever they're trying to do, whether it's trying to move house, work at their job, start a business, every project that I've spoken to anyone, they've talked about the fact of it's like they can't push it forward. No matter how hard you work, no matter how much energy you're putting into shit, everything has come to a standstill. Projects that you had going have all of a sudden screeched to a stop. Moves that you had planned to make, you start looking about, okay, well, this is where I'm going to go to. Like, there's my end goal over here is here. And so therefore, that's where I'm working towards. And you take a few steps forward, everything feels really good, everything's moving, and then all of a sudden, bam, there's like a wall. And everyone I'm talking to right now, this entire last 3 weeks especially, there is a wall and nothing is moving forward. Now, whether we're talking, Ann and I have an ongoing joke about what timeline have we woken up in this morning, right? Because you literally wake up in the morning and go, like, am I in timeline 1, timeline 2, or timeline 12,042? Because you just don't know. from the physical shit that you feel in your body to the mental and the emotional stuff that you're going through. God knows I won't even get into the fucking Mandela effects that are going on around me right now. Fuck. Is that it? Is it like timelines are just flickering back and forth, and we get dumped in one and we get dumped in another, and things start to move, and then all of a sudden it's like, boom, oh, now it's the other timeline, and fuck, we're back to this stagnant energy where nothing can push forward. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Donnie, just give one Mandela, just one for giggles. Just give one.
Oh, just crazy stuff still going missing in my house. All the things just moving.
Me too.
Things moving, and you all of a sudden you notice something. You notice something in the house that you're going, okay, I've lived here since March, and I've never seen that. Name a thing, like a mark on a wall, a weird dent in a cabinet, plastic containers. And then you're like, I've had these plastic containers for a year, and now I said the other day that now one of my plastic, like Tupperware type containers, is got millimeter measurements down the side. I have washed that fucker for a year. There was not any fucking measurements on the side of that container. Now suddenly there's measurements down the side of that container.
I got a good one for you that's hilarious. So when Darwin and I got married in 1999, we went for our honeymoon in Niagara-on-the-Lake because it's so pretty there. And we bought a chicken lamp. Now, I know it sounds ridiculous, but it's this, because it was so ugly, we bought this lamp. It was like a memento from our honeymoon. It has an amber kind of glass body, and it's got cast iron feet and a cast iron head. Well, we broke it maybe 3 years ago, and so we got a replacement, right? So we got our lamp. We're all happy. We got our original. Guess what? It's now a rooster lamp. I kid you not. I said, Darwin, I said, what happened to our chicken lamp? Did you break it and try to replace it? He's like, no. And it's so funny because I said, well, it's a rooster now. And he's going, you're right. I said, it was a chicken lamp, right? We had a chicken lamp, right? Or else I would have called it a rooster lamp. It's not a freaking chicken lamp. It's a rooster. Honest to God. I'm going to have to take a picture, throw it somewhere so you guys can see this. It's so ridiculous. I said, no, it was a chicken lamp. If it was a rooster lamp, we would have called it a rooster lamp. So now we're even questioning our own reality. Like, what happened to our lamp? It was a chicken, and chickens look different than roosters. This rooster's got a big plume on the back, and it wasn't on the lamp before. And I'm losing my mind. I felt like, holy. Anyway, I thought that was a good, really weirded out thing to share with you guys.
Oh, okay, listen, that kind of shit. Go ahead, Dawn.
I just have a question about this because lately I've been waking out of sleep, like as I'm falling asleep. I'm sleeping very well, very soundly, 6 to 8 hours, no issues. However, on falling asleep, I'll all of a sudden open my eyes and there's like a big spider there, or there's something there, and I just jump and it's not there. Or like there's something that runs, or I don't know, like something there that is like, when you blink and you look again, it's actually not there.
Yep.
And it's only happening as I fall asleep. It's almost like between
when you're in between the layers.
Some kind of, I don't know. Yeah. It's just all of a sudden, but then, full consciousness comes and boom, it's gone.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, whatever. And I've experienced a lot of interesting things, but that one is only upon falling asleep that it happens. So I don't know if anyone else is getting that.
Okay, Laura just said Morse code type dots twice in the last 2 weeks. I've been sitting in bed and not even falling asleep, but I'm in my room. It's late at night, so it's quiet. Do you know what I'm saying? Like the house is, I don't have dogs barking. I don't have kids running around and arguing and shit. It's quiet. And I've realized, and it's only my left ear where I'm hearing tones, but they're like deet, 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 deet. And I said the exact same thing. It's like I've got some electronic Morse code sounds. And you do this, you plug your ear, like, okay, if I can I, no, I can't hear it. And then take the finger out. And no, I can hear it both ways. No, I can still hear it the exact same. So you're picking up on something that is not dependent on actual hearing, right? If you can't block it out with your finger, it's not something you're hearing out here externally.
Do you find it
Yeah.
a lot more pleasanter than the normal ringing in the ears? So I had that too, and I didn't want to say anything because I remember in the old UU group that, you know, you would mention a symptom and then everybody would jump in and say, yeah, I have it. And then the critical few would say, yeah, sure, mention one thing and y'all got it. Well, you know what? I have that Morse code ringing in the ears, exactly what you said. And I didn't have a word to describe it, but I would listen carefully too. I did the same thing you did because I was like, where is this coming from? And did the same tests you did. But I found that the tones are pleasant. They're not as bad as, remember when you got the ringing in the ears?
Yeah,
More melodic. Not pleasant, but melodic, I guess is a better word. It's not so dissonant sounding.
It's different. I can say that the tone is different than any of the other tones that I've heard. It is definitely a different, completely different type of tone. Yeah, Meredith, I've heard that too. That sounds almost like a singing bowl. Those kind of tones too. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. What that stuff, the vibrating, and I get it mostly when I'm falling to sleep. Like what Dawn was saying, when you're in that in between place, you're not asleep, but you're really in the drift, if you will. And when all of a sudden I'll be conscious of the fact, like my body is vibrating so hard. There was one night last week where I literally, my body was physically vibrating because I could hear my teeth chattering. I actually heard my teeth like together. And that I think was the thing that made me kind of come back and go like, oh fuck, holy shit. And then usually as soon as I recognize that I'm vibrating like that, I'm gone. Like instantly, like boom, I'm just instantly out after that.
You know, Danny, what I had this week was like almost, I don't know, fainting, almost like blacking out, almost like falling, like not after like really something that you would think that would make you this way, like not like climbing 10 stairs and you black almost out, but like literally just
you're sitting
standing
there.
No, yeah, exactly. Like sitting there, or you already standing or doing just a move, like you turn around and almost gets blacked out.
I was saying to Anne and Gail, I think it was last week, I had one day I was standing there at the stove cooking, and Nick was standing next to me cutting up vegetables or whatever, and we were just talking, and I just turned to look at him, and in that moment, like everything went around, and I literally started going over, and he had grabbed me, and then I ended up holding onto the counter, and I stood there like white knuckled holding onto the counter for a good minute or two just to keep myself upright, and Nick just was like, was that a good freebie for you? And I was like, yeah, it's still going on, don't walk away, you might need to catch me before I hit the floor. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying, like my kids are feeling it, the emotional aspects of shit where it's up and down, exhaustion, all kinds of physical symptoms that are, from not feeling well. And the big one is just the fact of, and I've had both my youngest daughter and my older son both say the same thing. I've been like, I don't know what's wrong. I don't know. They don't have words. They can't even, and they're teenagers. They can't even express what they're feeling. All they can say is that I don't feel right. I feel off. Something's not right, but they can't even define it. Yeah. Fucking crazy ass shit. Crazy ass shit. Keep going back to the same thing. What the fuck is actually happening? Now, like Nick said, we've got the solar flare from some other galaxy outside, not our sun, traveling through the solar system right now and supposedly hitting Earth, so they say, so they tell us. Which I've never, in all my years of studying the solar stuff, have I ever heard them announce a solar flare from outside our solar system, i.e. not from our sun, coming through and going to hit us. I've never heard that before. Is that part of it? Like, is this part of that stuff that they know something is coming? And that's part of one of those things. We're not talking about resets and finances and all that kind of stuff, because that's all a fucking distraction, because what's actually coming is something they have literally no control over. I don't know. I know nothing. But my darlings, it's 12:30 at night here. And I'm hungry. I gotta go eat something, and then I'm gonna go to bed. It was so good to see all you guys. We will be back next Monday for the UnFuckIt discussion again at the regular time. So 2 p.m. GMT on Monday. And yeah, I know, Jules, it's hard when you for everyone over in Australia, except for Monty, who stays up at all hours of the time. So I'm reminding everyone, the last Monday of every month will be the European Eurasian UnFuckIt discussion, which we will have in the morning time. It'll be easier for Jules and Laura, etc., to join us at that time of day. That'll be the day when it'll be at the time where it'll be in the middle of the night for everyone in North America. But we'll get there. And yes, we're still trying to plan out. Nick is still going to do the crypto discussion. It's just been, our internet has been, as you saw tonight, it's there and then it's just fucking not there. So it is still on the board. It has not been forgotten or been put aside. It will happen. Maybe it'll probably be next week, though. It'll probably be next week, because it seems like every time we get closer to the weekend, the internet just gets worse. Yeah, so everyone, go find your tribe. Go find your local tribe. Get out there. Give somebody a hug today. Even if it's just your own kids, just hug someone. We all need hugs right now. We all need hugs. Hugs. I love you guys, and I will see you all on Monday for the next UnFuckIt discussion. Bye.
Not too sharp, I got anything left. Look for it at the right time, but it doesn't seem to come. Or do I get distracted by the turbulence?